Hello YouTube. Today I thought I would make a video after a long silence, and I thought I would talk about popularism. And this is simply the rise of the black popularist leader in Africa. And you see, I was watching television the other night and I saw Julius Malema. And Julius Malema, I'm sure we all know him. He is the epitome of popularism in modern day Africa. And this man arrives back from Zimbabwe from a so-called fact-finding mission, sits in a boardroom, in a press conference, and says, we are going to do a land reform program in South Africa, and we are going to do it Zimbabwe style. And you see, that's where I had a problem automatically, where it didn't make sense to me how a leader in a country like South Africa that has stood by and watched what has happened in Zimbabwe over the last 10 years, how such a leader can turn around and expect to enact the same policies that in a sense destroyed Zimbabwe. And don't get me wrong, if you watch my previous videos, I'm a person who is pro land reform. I am pro the black movement of empowerment. But as I said in my previous videos, once again, I feel that the land reform program wasn't done properly. And it wasn't done properly for one reason. It was a popularist movement by the ZANU-PF party, where all the way since 1980 until 1999, there was no proper land reform program in Zimbabwe. It was slow and sluggish, just like South Africa. And something triggered the land reform program in 1999. And I think there's general consensus that when ZANU-PF lost the referendum on the new constitution, they thought that they were going to lose the next elections, and they decided, how about if we enact a popularist policy where we can, in a sense, implement it so quickly that the people can see the effects and vote for us during the next elections. And this policy was obviously the forceful land reform program. And I feel that is partly the reason why the land reform program happened the way it did in Zimbabwe, popularism. And even if you look at the election of people like Mugabe into power, they were very popularist moves where it wasn't really about what the individual can add to the country, how the individual can lead the country forward, but rather how popular the leader was. And now if we take a look at Jacob Zuma in South Africa, the new South African president, it is the same effect. It is really not about what Jacob Zuma can add to South Africa. It's more about Jacob Zuma doing what the average person in Soweto wants done. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is the epitome of democracy. That every single person, no matter how poor, how unintelligent, they also need representation in government. But you see, the problem with popularism is that it takes the views of the masses into consideration and ignores the views of the minority. And if we just look at the more recent statements in, let's say, Zimbabwe, in Zimbabwe there's a current move where certain human rights organizations are pushing for gay rights to be enshrined in the Zimbabwean constitution. In Zimbabwe currently it's not illegal to be gay, but it is illegal to perform gay acts, as they say. And what the organizations in Zimbabwe are saying is, how about we enshrine these rights and protect gay people as a minority? But a few weeks ago, the president and the prime minister both stood and made the statement that they will never allow gay rights to be placed in the Zimbabwean constitution. And automatically I have a problem. And the problem is not necessarily advocating for gay rights or not advocating for them. The problem is that the Zimbabwean constitution should be written by Zimbabweans. Therefore, President Mugabe and Tsvangirai should have no say in what happens in the Zimbabwean constitution. It should be the average Zimbabwean speaking. And this is where we see popularism, where we know that Zimbabwe is mostly a fundamentalist Christian country. And if a prime minister said something like that, they will get a lot of votes. But that's not how government should work. It should be the people of Zimbabwe deciding what should be in their own constitution. And if we go even further from that, we look at the land situation in South Africa, as I spoke about Julius Malema. The way that this guy comes back to South Africa and makes a popularist statement that he knows will resonate in the ears of the poor plebeians. But he forgets that, wait a minute, there's a business community in South Africa, and there's investment that needs to come into South Africa. There's so many different facets to the country and the economy. And by making such a statement, he's only catering for one sector or one segment in society. And this is a big problem that I am seeing in Africa. And it's really sad how, we do have very good ideas that, in a sense, we should have a land reform program. And in a sense, we should have indigenization of businesses. And that's another thing. You look at the current Indigenization Act in Zimbabwe. That act wasn't for the better of Zimbabwe, but rather it was an act for popularism, being liked by the average Zimbabwean. Oh, guess what? We're gonna cede ownership of companies and give it to ordinary Zimbabweans. Those ordinary Zimbabweans may not even be able to run the companies properly. You see, again, that's a popularist move. It doesn't help the country, but rather it helps the majority, not the whole populace. And yeah, I just wanted to know what your views are on this, and how you think this is going to affect Africa as a continent. And I was just thinking the other day, I feel that the form of democracy that we were left in Africa by the Europeans is what I call a curse on Africa. It's as if we're going through a continual spiral of popularist leaders going into power, destroying the continent, and new popularist leaders coming in and doing the same. And that's something I fear with someone like Morgan Tsvangirai, where I wonder, is he the person to liberate Zimbabwe, or is he the person to go in and do more or less the same thing that Mugabe has done, but differently? And don't get me wrong, I never want to show in my videos that I'm a ZANU-PF supporter. I never want to show that I'm an MDC supporter. I want to seem more impartial. But I see a problem in all facets of society, in all these political parties. And before I go, I'm just going to talk about Nazi Germany, the rise of Nazi Germany. We see that Hitler was democratically elected. But the reason why he was elected democratically is because he had popularist views, such as, it is the Jew who is taking our jobs, it is the Jew who's doing this, the Jew, the Jew, the Jew. And guess what? He was elected and he was, adorned with so many powers. And that's why he was able to do what he did. Now, in a sense, are we not adorning our leaders with too much power by saying, it is the white man, the white man, the white man? Are we not adorning the leaders with too much power by saying it is the gay man, it is the gay man, it is the gay man? By saying it is the this, it is the that? Are we not adorning our leaders with so much power by constantly finding a scapegoat in society, someone to blame for something? And because of that, we kind of shift away from the issues of economic growth, the issues of finding employment, the issues of reducing crime, the issues of establishing a stronger democracy. Are we not being turned away from the big issues to focus on stupid issues that don't make any sense? And yeah, I really just want to know, my fellow Africans, and my fellow black people, really, what do you think about this? Do you support these popularist leaders? And if you support people like Julius Malema, if you support people like Mugabe, or people like Tsvangirai, please leave a comment and tell me, what do you think these people can do to change Africa for the better? And yeah, well, thanks for watching the video, and I really do hope to hear from you. And if you like the video, and if you like the general theme of my channel, do subscribe. Thank you.